Hey guys, it's Ken McElroy here, and I'm on the line here with Jase Bennett, a serial entrepreneur now living in Hawaii. He has lots and lots of different businesses. He has lots of YouTube success, lots of business success. Been in the U.S., been in Hawaii, been all over the world, generating businesses and products for people all over the place. Jase, good to have you on.
Thank you, Ken. Excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So I know, one of the things, obviously, I'm known for real estate, and this is a real estate strategies podcast and YouTube, but primarily most of the people are in trouble because they don't have multiple streams of income, passive income. And I know from doing a little bit of research on you that, that's been kind of your thing. You've never really had a job. You've just been super self-sufficient from a young age. And now your kids, you're teaching that to them. And it sounds to me with Richie Norton and yourself, you guys are teaching financial freedom to a lot of different folks. I'd love to know a little bit more about your story and kind of how you got that passion early on, because I'm sure you changed a lot of lives.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I bet my friends, and one of them's actually staying at my house right now. We were just talking about this. We were 16 years old. They were all begging me to go and work at Subway with them. I was installing car audio during school class periods out in the parking lot, hiding from the parking guy that looked for kids that were sloughing in people's cars, installing car audio, making $150 each time I did. I make them buy all the stuff. And then in between class during their class, I'd go in the parking lot and install their stuff. And then I made as much in that one install that they made in like 3-4 days working at Subway. And I said, guys, it just doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? And so we all bet each other $100, or they all bet me $100 that by the time I was 35, I would have clocked in and out of somebody else's business. And I've never done it still. I am completely unemployable. I'm not, I don't follow the rule. Oh, I wouldn't. I don't follow the rules well. I'm always looking for ways to tweak and change and progress and create. And so in that type of an environment, I don't do very well, or I don't think I would. And so I've created all my own businesses and sold some, shut some down, handed some to the partners and just walked. Just depends. I've had a whole lot of experiences like that. I think I would blame it all on Jim Rohn. I was looking for his book.
Yeah, of course. I know Jim Rohn. Yeah. Kyle Wilson's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Really?
We go way back.
Oh, that's awesome. There was a phrase, I was reading one of his books back in the late 90s, and he said, work full-time on paying your bills and part-time on building your fortune. And I thought, that's great. So I've always had a main business that pays the bills. And then I always have a side one that I hope can beat out the main one. And then I've just stair-stepped through businesses over the past, 30 years. And so real estate, I had a real estate brokerage in Hawaii I was partners in a real estate brokerage for about, I'd say 7 years. And I was the broker in charge for 5 of those. And so I did some, I was working on selling some hotels and some strip malls and a whole bunch of residential and beachfront. And my wife and I owned some multi-unit dwellings. And so I love real estate. So real estate is absolutely part of our portfolio, but it's more of my passionate back end of the portfolio that nobody knows about. Nobody in my story knows about my real estate stuff unless they knew me back then. So I love real estate.
I know you were in real estate in Utah as well, right? Isn't that where you kind of cut your teeth?
Yeah, that was back in the Prudential days. And I found the lead realtor in Utah for multiple years. And I went up to him. I said, hey, I'm hardworking. I do this, I do that. Here's these companies I've been involved with, but I would love to just shadow you. And he said, all right, would you give me half your commissions? I said, if I close anything in that time period, yes, but I'll do anything you need me to do for you. And I worked with him for 8 months. We closed some NBA players' homes, a couple football stars' homes, some really big, he was getting 6-figure commission checks on those. And I got a nickel or two from him. And then that's when I moved to Hawaii and started doing it on my own.
Great. In the meantime, I know like one of the things that's been interesting for me is growing our firm is, so we have right around $1 billion worth of real estate holdings and all over the Western US basically, but it's been that kind of family work balance. And, as you know, you talk a lot about this, especially, with your kids that are now YouTube stars.
Yeah.
and but it's tough, right? Like, how do you teach your kids financial independence, financial education, also, kind of grow businesses like you've done? And so how have you kind of done the work-life balance and kept it all together?
So I would probably say, if I start it here, I wouldn't say never. I rarely take a vacation. It's almost always a workcation, right? My family moved up to Alaska multiple years in a row for the entire summer. But it was so I could sell my skateboards at the local Costco's and be the rep there. But my family got this epic vacation in Alaska, but I did some work. So I got the tax benefits and all this and that. And so my kids have always seen me do that. And so then once they were old enough and interested enough we started doing YouTube. I started in 2010 for my skateboard company. I went through 2008, pretty hard time in real estate. And we had a retail store. There's a lot of students that couldn't afford cars. The bikes always rusted. So they were doing skateboards. Anyway, started this skateboard company, and I saw a need and I filled it, right? That's kind of my thing. And then along that process, started a family channel in 2015. But my wife, I wanted that to be her thing. And then once our oldest saw the process, knew how it worked, said, I want to do one. I want to do one. I said, okay, you have to edit videos for us. And until it's good enough that we'd be willing to pay you for it, you can't have your own channel, right? Start them out in the mailroom, basically. So we start all of our kids out in the mailroom on the editing floor. And once their edits were good enough, and then they would give concepts, and their concepts started to really let us know that they understood their market, then we launched their channels. And so now, I don't know, this is one wall. We've got, if you see all these gold play buttons from YouTube, silver ones, and all sorts of, we've got I actually have a stack of them to the left of me to put up on this wall. And so we've started that with all of our children. Now they all have, I don't know, multi-100,000. Our other daughter now, her channel just hit 1 million YouTube channels, but our big thing is self-starting. And so we pulled them out of school 4 years ago, and we're homeschooling them, trying to teach them how to be motivated to start themselves. So the editing and that with the videos, with homeschool. And it's kind of a rough go to teach people how to self-start, because some people come with that, right? I'm sure you've met people in your time where you're like, whoa, this person, I can give them a task. They will just go and do. And there's other people you really have to hold their hand and teach them. And so luckily, almost all of our kids are really into the self-starting. They can get it done. They can wake up. We still have to guide them and do all that. But it came to a point with my wife and I, was kind of a point of contention, actually. They started making so much money that my wife didn't want them to know how much money they made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
I wanted them to know how much money they made. We had a daughter. She was making, 20 to 30,000 a month. And she didn't have a driver's license. She didn't even know what a driver's license quite was yet. And my wife did not want her to know about it. And so I really had to figure out how we could let them know about it, but in a way that didn't distort their reality. Because
how did you do that? What did you do?
So we started to let her know, okay, here's how much you make. So let's take that 20,000, and then we're taking 60% of this and we're tossing it in. And we showed, she didn't understand it. We said, we're tossing it in this account. It was a SEP IRA, but in this account, and it's going to stay there for a long time, and forget about it. So now you're left with this amount. And then we go down to this amount. Now you have to pay taxes on this amount. So let's take this big old chunk right out. There's like 32% or whatever it was, is insane. Now you only have this. Now from this has to go for paying editors, people who make our thumbnails, all the costs, that goes here. And so really it ended up, she had $100. And so she learned really young that it costs money to do business, and that 20 grand isn't 20 grand, but now she's turning 18 soon. She will start her LLC. All the money is going to start going directly to her. But now she understands. She has a jewelry line, and she went, hey, Dad, she did this morning. Dad, it's the end of the year. Shouldn't I make another order for spring? I said, why? Well, so that it's less ink. I'm making my orders. I have less in the bank. So taxes, I won't have to pay as much, right? I went, here we go. This is good.
Nice.
This is, I like, you are ready to almost leave the house.
Good. Did you play the cash flow game with them at all?
Oh my goodness. I should have. I have it here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. It's up on my shelf, actually. You know what? I am going to do that with them. I had it and I had talked to my wife about playing that, and we never did, because whenever we play games, it's typically because a brand paid us to play the game.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one. So I'll tell you, just from my personal experience, because, Robert and Kim are business partners of mine.
Right.
And they, so I got that game when my kids were little, and now my kids are both at university, and they're in the accounting finance classes, and my son said, hey dad, like, no one knows what an asset or a liability is. No one knows what passive income is in this class. And I'm basically teaching everyone, as you know,
I love
that
it.
stuff in the game form. It's been, it's been wonderful for our family. That's for sure.
I will actually do that, because they really need to learn this stuff. This is the real life stuff we're trying to teach our kids. And that's why we homeschool them. We did before COVID forced it upon everybody.
Yeah, you guys were ahead of the curve on that.
Well, my wife's YouTube channel quickly turned into how to homeschool your kids, how to do this with your kids at home. And her channel went, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So we tried to pivot quickly.
Well, obviously you've done that. Congrats on the YouTube success. So at what age did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And even more importantly, as you know, like, a lot of people are financially hurting right now. It's because they had one source of income.
Right.
Somehow you've innately figured that out. I have obviously multiple streams of income. And so some are down, some are up, as you kind of explained in the beginning. Some companies are going like this, some are going like this, some you're exiting from, some you're selling, some you're merging, some you're expanding. So how did you figure that out to get that kind of that, insurance policy, that internal insurance policy for yourself?
I think it was every single person that met me always asked me, so what are you going to get a degree in? I said, I don't want to get a degree. What? Well, you're going to go to college. Yeah, but I don't know what college is going to do. I already have this. I mean, it was a small company. It was just me. Well, I wouldn't call it a company. I had an apparel company, and at the time between that and I tested a couple network marketing companies back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was making about $60,000 a year doing that. And so I decided to go to college. I already had my little businesses and all that going on. And I went to college, and I went to the counselor at the end. I said, so psychology, entrepreneurship, that's my thing. What are the jobs for me? And she kind of laid out a list of them. She said, if you do 4 years at this and minor in this, and here's 100,000 some odd dollars it's going to cost you. If you do really well, you might be able to make about $60K a year. I thought,
which is what you were making already.
And that's what I said. I said, well, I'm already making that. She goes, no, you're not. I said, well, I am, but so I need to do all. And I walked out. We didn't finish the conversation. And I wandered through the campus for a little bit, had some conversations, and then decided, all right, I just graduated. I'm going to graduate myself. I'm going to put a cap on. I'm going to toss it. And I finished that semester. I did one semester of university. I did get A's, so I could have kept going. It wasn't that I was a bad student, but I just didn't see the point of me spending all that time and money if I was already doing what I love doing. And so I just stuck with it.
That's kind of the reality of everybody right now. They're questioning the education. A lot of people are in debt, it's really interesting. I think finally, I know you're a personal development guy and you educate yourself and you do all kinds of great stuff. But I think the education system is really kind of unraveling right now, as people are trying to see the benefit of it. So you saw it while you're sitting there with a counselor.
Yeah, and so then to get back to your question, everybody asked me, since I wasn't doing that, well, shouldn't you get a degree as a backup, as a safety net, and they write all the analogies and metaphors of what a degree, you should just have it as a backup. And so I decided, okay, I'll always have a side hustle as a backup. How about that instead? And so my wife and I moved to Hawaii in 2003. We bought out this little video store that was 10 foot by 10 foot. It had 300 videos in it. It made $7 a day. Worst, best decision ever. I was doing real estate in Utah. I was driving the brand new H2 Hummer. I thought I was the bee's knees. I thought I was the man. And so I traded that Hummer plus 15 grand cash for this video store on the North Shore of Oahu in a teeny community. And my dad said, Jase, what are you doing? He said, I'm not questioning you, but I'm questioning you. And I said, Dad, I am buying my foot in the door of this teeny little community out on the North Shore. Everyone comes to this video store, and I am buying those connections to everybody out there. And then I'll see what I want to do. Once I've met everybody, maybe I'll move my license over and get my license in Hawaii, and I'll start doing that. But I don't know. I just really want to go there. My wife's from Hawaii, all the good stuff. And so we went and we had the video store until I had all the connections about 3 years. Then I moved my license over and started doing real estate. And I posted the active listings in our video store, and everybody came to our video store. And then real estate did better than videos. So shut down the real estate, or the video store, just did real estate. Real estate was growing. 2008 happened. I started to get a little wishy-washy on real estate. Started a skate company. Finally, 2010 skate company and real estate were about equal. So I tossed the real estate and just did the skate company. Then with the skate company, started doing YouTube, and then YouTube started paying for those videos. So wait a second, honey, you should start a YouTube channel. Going. Okay, exit the skate company, just do YouTube. So other people think I'm all over the map. But to me, it's just this nice organized staircase that I don't understand why nobody has faith in me.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, obviously multiple side hustles but you saw YouTube early, earlier than most. And, you've had obviously massive success. I looked at the Ohana Adventure. You have got, I don't know, 3 million plus subscribers or something. And some of your videos are way up there, millions and millions. I think one was over 100 million views. What inspired you to start that channel? And obviously now you have multiple channels. And
I was filming a skateboard video, and I put it on YouTube, and YouTube sent me an email saying, we'd like you to be a part of our partnership program where you can get paid. I went, wait a second, I'm making a commercial and you're paying me for my commercial that you're marketing that's making sales for me? This is like win, 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 win. Okay. And so I was a part of it, and I started seeing these checks come through for videos. And then it was years before I put that together with my wife about doing family content. But it was our family. We love traveling, and we have 6 kids. And my wife, not me, my hair's gone. These flat old man caps are my thing now. But we'd always get people making negative comments to us whenever we travel. Oh my gosh, look at all those kids. I mean, people were blunt about it. And I'm quick-witted. I was blunt back. I got some really good cuss words coming back at me while I'm walking through with my kids, because I need to bridle my tongue, I think is what my wife calls it. I told her, I said, we should start sharing how we adventure, how you homeschool, how we do all these things, because people think homeschooling families with 6 kids are a bunch of weird, socially inept hermits. I was like, we are the opposite of that, but that's the stigma. So let's start making some videos. And I wonder if we could do it well enough that we could get paid for it. And it was just family how-to, this and that. But then it took my wife 9 months of uploading, never got a check. 9 months every single day. And finally, 9 months in, she gets a check for $255. She was over the moon. I was like, 9 months for $250? Never mind. I'm out. And I said, once you can start making it actually do something. Well, the next check was $500. The next check was $1,000. She doubled her checks for about 6 months until she was getting 5 figures a month from YouTube. And I was freaking out. And so then I got involved. And that's more where the Ohana Adventure was born. Instead of the kind of mommy help channel that she had, how to teach your teen to shave her legs, how to pack for a trip, how to do 72-hour kits, how to do homeschool. It was more what I do, which is my kids and I would go into Costco, and I'd be like, all right, who wants $1? Me. All right. All of you go hide and I'm going to come and find you. And the last person to find gets $1. And so we started filming that. I just did so I could shop in peace. But it turned into, we do fun games all over the world. So we get hotels that pay us to stay in their hotel, and we'll do 24 hours not leaving this hotel. So they get lots of footage. They get lots of traction. We have fun there. And it's been a really hard sell because a lot of the intercontinentals of the world and those types of hotels are so used to paying the influencers that just, they're in a thong with a coffee looking out at the ocean in their sea bungalow, and not this crazy family having fun at their location. But there's a lot of very well-to-do families out there that love traveling or are very good at it. That it's not just the wealthy, I call them single couples because it's, the no kids couples traveling the world. There's a lot of crazy people like us now. And so there's this market that we're still growing that, though. It's not out there yet, but that's how we kind of went through that process. That's how we built it, the mentality behind it. But anybody could start a YouTube channel and start getting paid from it. It's a little bit harder now, but if you're interested in something, there's another couple million people interested in that same thing out there. You just got to be consistent enough for them to be able to find you.
Yeah, that's clear. I mean, it's interesting how you started with skateboarding, obviously, and then turned to your family, and I heard you say this in an interview, you get paid to hang out with your family, and who doesn't want that, right?
You got to really love your family. And I really do. So it's getting paid to play together is the hardest, best thing we've ever done. Because it does put business inside our entire family unit, which I told my wife when we were first married. She wanted to be my real estate assistant. And I said, absolutely not. Because when I need to yell, and I don't want that to go to you. So if you mess something up, I need it to be a business relationship so I can be like, what are you doing? Get this done. And I don't want that directed at you. But now, this room that I am has 4 computer stations around here, and each kid, when they upload their video, it goes onto this one. When they're reviewing it after the editors have it, they sit at this one. When it's thumbnail time, they work with the girl on this one. And so each station has its purpose. There's this whole process set up. And that was my wife's doing, not mine. I can't take credit for that genius.
What an education. So let's get into that. So clearly now you're teaching your kids how to do business. You obviously been doing that your whole life. How important is it to you to teach your children about entrepreneurship?
At 16, I start having them read kind of a list of books, and Rich Dad is one of those in there. There is some Art of Exceptional Living from Jim Rohn they have to read. There is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership from John C. Maxwell, Failing Forward, John C. Anyways, there's a bunch of these books that is part of their school curriculum to start getting them interested. And if they're not interested, they don't have to. If they want to go to college and become a veterinarian, I 100% am behind you. And so I have all these books, good to great, all these. Yeah. And they have all of these that is starting to kind of pull them out and to figure out where they want to go. And then we take it from there. We have one that she wants to be a dolphin trainer. That's her thing. Yeah. And she's 10 now, but we did a brand deal with Discovery Cove, and she got to stay in this little beachfront bungalow at their dolphin tank for 5 days and train dolphins the whole time, and to see if that's what she loves. But that was a brand deal for her YouTube channel. And so she's now starting to read these books, and she is not interested in business anything, not even a little bit. And I'm super excited for her. If she wants to go and be a dolphin trainer, we're trying to give them the path to go wherever they want and not force them anywhere. But they all have to read these leadership books to see if it interests them at all. Because if it does, starting them that young, if they understand how McDonald's started and how all these things happen, GE and Ford and the successes and the downfalls, they can then, in my mind, go, like my daughter's jewelry company. She has a jewelry company. She knows when she makes her orders. She's getting better at understanding her audience and being like, wow, the yellow gold necklace, Dad, it's only sold 10% of its inventory in a month. She's like, but the rose gold sold 90. So I'm done with the yellow gold. I'm not even going to look at yellow gold anymore. It's rose gold and white gold. And that's all I'm going to, but she's learning how to pivot on her own and read her audience. So it's really, really cool to watch.
Really good, because she's looking at her own inventory and making business decisions on
Right. It's so
surprising
exciting for
how
me.
resilient kids are, and what
My
they
goodness.
see.
Yeah. If
Right?
they can learn a language that easy, I'm hoping they can learn these skills younger. And so my kids, there is a downfall. They do not play with their friends as often as most kids because we don't have the same schedule as most families. And so we did get some hate for that a while ago. Somebody tried to do an expose on our family on YouTube about how I'm this big taskmaster. But then my kids all went on their channels and did videos saying, hey guys, here's a day in my life. Here's what I do. And it's not my parents that are forcing me to do it. I don't ever want to have a job. My oldest said that.
Wow.
So here's what I do all
the
day.
Internet. Isn't that the greatest way?
It's so cool. Everyone then told her that I put her up to it, so I'll never win. But I'm okay with that. She doesn't feel that way, and that's all I care about. The haters are the haters, and whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm used to.
So how do you and your wife, stay on the same page to cultivate, that spirit in the kids? Because they're all very different. My kids are very different.
Yeah.
And as you know, some resonate with a book, some don't even want to read it, some read it. So, so all of that stuff. By the way, I have another book you might want to take a look at. It's called Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield.
Awesome.
Really small book, really good book, easy, quick little read.
Great.
We studied it in our company and as a family as well.
Oh, I'm absolutely. I love books. I love books. I've been writing too for about 4 years. And finally my wife just told me, okay, honey, you need to pull the trigger on these. You need to actually put these in. I started email addresses for them 4 years ago. And whenever I have an idea, I email it in. So I've got like 1,000 and the other one has 600 plus emails of all my thoughts and ideas in this email.
That's awesome.
I need to pay somebody to go through this and turn it into something, and then I'll go through it.
I got a guy for you. I've written 6.
Oh, wow. I'd love it.
Yeah, we could chat after this.
Okay. Well,
but how
my
do you
wife and
cultivate the individual spirit inside of the kids?
That has been the hardest thing because I am very blunt. I move very quickly. I'm fairly unapologetic. And my wife is the opposite. And so between the two of us, these last 2 years, COVID actually was the easiest for us because we were already doing all this. So that didn't change anything. It actually calmed everything down. All of our travel schedule was gone. We were just hanging out at home. It made things so much simpler for us. But before that, it's been because all of our kids are becoming teenagers right now and they're really showing their sides. I'm the driven, you need to.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And so that is the question, because right now it's our one boy wants to do YouTube, but is terrible at it. He is analysis paralysis. He will come to me with a YouTube idea and I'll say, great. Come back with me with your shot list. He could go 2 weeks, never show back up with it. I get all frustrated. I'm like, you came to me, we did all this, we put the time in, let's finish it. I don't not finish things. And so I get all frustrated. She's like, hey, it's just not his thing. I'm like, but he says it's his thing, so let's do it. So yeah, that's an interesting one right now. So I'm learning right now, like I said, with the dolphin trainer, I'm learning to go, okay, you are saying you like YouTube. Are you liking it just because I wanted to become an orthodontist because my dad was? But when it came time to go to dental school, I was like, nah, not my thing. Not going to do it. So hopefully we're doing a lot of excursions. We went into the dolphin trainer place with her because I was like, yeah, she thinks she wants to be a dolphin trainer, but does she want to have stinky fish in her hands all day and like have to scrub the teeth and have to do all the studies it's going to take to even be considered? Man, she was so all in reading the book. She gets so passionate about anything marine biology that she will make it past everybody. She is so driven. Marcus Buckingham, man, long time ago, he had a thing that he put out, and it was called Trombone Player Wanted. I think it's probably now a YouTube video. You used to have to pay hundreds of dollars for the DVD set, but now it's probably a YouTube video. And it's all about playing to your strengths. And so I found that while I was doing my new bookshelf and I watched it. It is perfect. There's a kid playing trombone and he hates it. And then there's a kid in the class playing drums and he hates it. And it just kind of this, no words, but this story showing the two intersect. This kid puts the thing up in the school, trombone player wanted, and this other kid, percussionist wanted, and they just switch. And the trombone player teaches the percussionist teaches the trombone player. And now the whole orchestra does so much better. And so it's, instead of what my parents did to me is hire me 6 tutors to teach me how to do some sort of math and have it make sense. No, just let me really get into science. I was so into science. Help me focus on what my strengths are, and I will excel instead of me feeling stupid all the time because I just don't understand that crazy, crazy section of algebra or trigonometry.
For sure. Who does, by the way?
Right. And so that's what we're trying to do right now with our kids is our biggest thing is self-starting. Our next biggest thing is play to your strengths. So we talk once a week. We have a family council. What did you do this week? How did it go? But a new question in that is, did you love it? Did you love it? Did you actually, my son with YouTube, he's like, no, it was kind of lame. Like, so what do you love? I don't know. So with him, we're going to have to go on this journey and figure out where his passion is, because if you're passionate about something, you'll be better than everybody else.
Yeah, you're right. That's really, really smart. Yeah, because a lot of time kids feel pressure. I never put that pressure on my kids even when they're high school and college still. I'm like, let's just keep an open mind. And my kids started off doing very entrepreneurial things too. We had a whole book on it called The Sleeping Giant. But then what happened was I said to them, Jase, I go, okay, you can't use money now. It has to be all barter. And so I gave them the red paperclip video. You know that? Have you seen it? So they both had to watch it. You start off with a red paperclip, you end with a house, right? And I said, so now you just have to trade. That's all you can do. So then they started doing the Craigslist and the eBay. And, my son's like, hey, I got a set of tires for a car I don't even need. And now I'm trading it for, something else, so they just get, but it opens their mind and kind of gets that creative juices going. And you see what they're good and what they're not good at.
And that's the key. And that's what I'm trying, because I have 6 kids and one of them, I'm pretty sure, speaks to me in Chinese, and the other one speaks to me in French, not literally, and so I literally have to be like, oh, okay, wait a second, let's flip the hat around. Okay, this is the analytical child I'm talking to right now. I need to remember that, and I need to react or act accordingly. And then my daughter comes, okay, this is the heartstrings, everything is emotional child that's coming to me, because if I treat them all the same, I'd just be a pissed off parent all the time because nobody understands me. So I'm trying to speak in all their different languages. It's intense.
Well, and the thing is as you travel around and start businesses and raise money and merge businesses and, all the things, you kind of have to do that anyway with other people. I'm right. It's
actually my parenting, or lack thereof sometimes, has truly helped me in the business world, because this one group wanted to merge with one of my other businesses, and finally I understood them. I went, oh my goodness, they are like this child of mine. And I started treating this merger as if I was dealing with this child instead of a group of professionals, which is what they should have acted like. I treated them like a 10-year-old boy that had ADHD and they just couldn't keep anything put together. And once I understood that, which that's me as well, all of a sudden I understood the merger. And right before everything was supposed to be done, I nixed the entire thing. Oh, they tried to all these lawsuits, all sorts of crazy stuff. None of it stuck, but they tried it. But at least I understood that before I let these guys into my business. And it saved me millions and millions and millions. Oh my goodness. And probably
the mental anguish too.
Yes. Oh, but it's, Mitt Romney got a lot of slack for saying corporations are people, but man, I can see that in a different angle than what he was pitching. But man, certain corporations truly act like an individual. And if you can learn that, my goodness, things will go easier. And in real estate, in negotiating contract deals and things like that, if you can understand the person on the other end of that contract, you're like, oh, they're actually much more emotional. Okay, I can talk to the emotion of that. All right, buyers, you guys write a heart-wrenching letter about why you need this house. Boom, deal can go through. Oh, these guys are cold heart cash. Okay, you guys, we can close 2 weeks earlier than anybody else because we're already halfway through our financing. Oh, deal. Boom. Anyways, so it sure helps if you try to understand the people on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, most people don't. Yeah, they try to push their own agenda, but it's 100% true. So, all right. So there's just in wrapping this up, there's a lot of people down and out right now, as you know, and they're probably soul searching. A lot of them had certainty of income of some sort. And, whether it's real estate or a business or a job or whatever, what advice would you give them and what can they do from a YouTube standpoint as well, to help them kind of move along?
Start that thing. Everybody has a thing, right? I have a company called Product. It's a mesh between proud and product because we want to make products for people they're proud of. It comes from my skateboard days. I found factories for every single component of the skateboards, from the screw, the nut, the ball inside the ball bearings in the wheel. Anyways. And so I had this great Rolodex. And so I started making stuff for other people's companies, and we were under, I guess it's past now, so it's okay, but under NDA with Tesla for a while for some stuff. And so we get hundreds and hundreds of people, I'd say 15 to 30 a month or a day, that email into our company saying, hey, I've got this idea. I'd like to make it. How do I do it? And so everybody, whenever I go to events, I'm speaking at events, and it's because of this company Product, everybody, hey, so I've got this idea. Hey, so I've got this thing. Nobody's ever done it before. Hey, so I've got this, I had this idea for a YouTube channel, or I had this idea for a book. Take the time to start that thing. And one of my things of advice for everybody who has an idea for a product, forget about the freaking NDAs. It is a non-popular thing for me to say, but so many people have worked up all these NDAs and all this paperwork before they've even done their idea. And it's not an idea that's awesome enough that anybody else was even going to steal it, but they just wasted 10 to 100 grand on paperwork and they never started the thing. It's like, start the thing. If it's a YouTube channel, start it. If it's a podcast, start it. If it's a book, make it an ebook. Throw it onto Amazon, make it free, share it with your Facebook friends, see if it has traction. If it does, now it's $1. Right? But start the thing. That's people don't start their things.
Protect it later. I agree with you.
You've got 12 months to protect the thing. Just start the thing.
You do. Yeah. See if anybody wants it, right? Anybody buys it, right? Like, I know
you got this idea for a book and you put it on Facebook and all your friends are like, nah, and you've got no downloads. Not a thing. But now at least you've done it. And now you know the process. Because all your friends will tell you, well, I didn't really like that. But man, if you would, right, they all give us their free advice. So now you've got your pivot and you can go on that road. But I think everyone's so afraid to start their thing. I say start. I start them all the time. Most of them have failed. But the ones that have been successful have been millions and millions of dollars successful. So anyways, that's my advice for the soul searchers. You've got that idea. Chuck it into the world. Ideas. They do.
I know.
Yeah.
It's you can't be afraid for it to not work.
Right. If it doesn't work, at least you're like, well, I didn't have that thing that somebody else did finally, because I have all those too. Man, well, I had this idea and somebody did it before me. So start it. Do it. Come on. Chuck it out there.
I always say, like, well, when you find out something doesn't work, that's a box to check. Okay, that didn't work. So what does work, right? You just keep looking.
Everyone's so proud of binging certain shows and saying they did all that. I'm like, go binge your own product. Go binge research. Go as passionate about as you were to see if the spaceship was going to explode or not, or who knows what the premise of whatever they were watching was. But go and see if your thing could actually work and put that kind of emotion and energy, because you're still just sitting. Most of it's laptop work nowadays. You don't have to go to a library and study stuff. Yeah, you can sit and stare at the exact same laptop you would have been watching that episode on and start a whole new thing. And there is a YouTube video about how to start it. I'm sure there is.
I know. It's been awesome. It's been great. Well, Jase, Awesome, man. Thank you. Congrats on all your success and with your family. And I can't wait to continue to watch you guys. Obviously, I'm subscribed. So it's been fun to watch, all the stuff happen and you guys grow, and congrats on the continued success.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This was great.